America Weekend.
This is Mike Bennett for America Weekend. A regular contributor is Greg Quinn, a naturalist and horticulturalist. He's also responsible for bringing the black currants back to the U.S. market, and he grows black currants on the Currant farm in the Hudson Valley, New York.
Hi, I'm Greg Quinn with this week's entry into Notes from the Currant farm. It's been another cold week here on the Currant farm. The ice on the pond behind the old farmhouse is finally thick enough for skating, and temperatures really get out of the single numbers at night. In the spring, summer, and fall, nature can be observed working her miracles every hour of every day. In the cold, still days of January, however, things seem pretty quiet. But that doesn't mean there are no natural wonders going on. Animals that hibernate, such as bears, skunks, woodchucks, chipmunks, and muskrats, are all in a den or burrow somewhere in a deep winter sleep. When hibernating, the endocrine system of the animal, which is made up of glands and the hormones they produce, slows down. Glands are responsible for every physiological aspect of hibernation. The pituitary gland controls the increase in usage of fat, heart rate, breathing rate, and metabolic functions. The thyroid gland controls metabolism and activity levels. Melatonin is a hormone that increases the growth of winter fur. And insulin is another hormone that regulates the amount of sugar needed for calorie consumption and body heat. How an animal controls its own body heat during hibernation is pretty amazing. When an animal hibernates, its body temperature varies depending on the temperature around it. Their body temperature can drop quite low, but warm-blooded animals all have what's known as a set point. That is, a minimum temperature. They have an internal thermostat, not unlike the thermostat in your house. When you set the thermostat in your house, the furnace will come on when the temperature drops to that point. Your furnace burns fuel to heat the house until it reaches that temperature again. When a hibernating animal's body temperature cools to the set point, their furnace, called metabolism, kicks in and burns some of the fat reserves. This generates heat, and the animal automatically begins to warm up until it's above the set point, and then things begin to slow down again. Most hibernating animals will stock up on fatty foods in the fall, such as grubs, or foods with high oil content, like nuts and seeds, to build up their fat reserves for the winter. Animals that have adapted to climates with long winters, such as the Arctic ground squirrel, can live off stored fat for up to 9 months without waking. Other animals need to wake up from time to time to have a little snack. Some animals, like bears, are able to convert urine into uric acid and can sleep all winter without drinking anything, and they have no problem with dehydration. And while we're on the subject, when hibernating, the digestive tract shuts down, so there's no waste problem in the dens and the burrows. The breathing rate of animals drops dramatically, too. It can drop from 50 to as much as 100%. The turtles sleeping in the mud at the bottom of my farm pond have stopped breathing altogether, and they won't take another breath until they come up in the warmth of late spring. The heart rate also drops, and in some cases it will drop less than 5% of the normal summertime rate. The heart rate of small animals, such as the chipmunks that scurry across my stone walls all summer, is normally 200 beats per minute, but this will slow down to just 5 beats per minute in hibernation. And did you know that some birds hibernate? Birds, which spend the winter here on the farm, like black-capped chickadees, have to conserve calories too. During the months when temperatures are low and food is scarce, they actually go into short-term hibernation called daily torpor. This usually happens at night. And this hibernation is similar to a mammal's in that breathing and heart rate, metabolic rate, and body temperature lowers. But unlike mammals, this quick hibernation only lasts several hours. But it can save a tremendous amount of calories. Hibernating animals are generally unaware of anything happening around them and almost impossible to wake up, kind of like my kids when they were teenagers. Insects, which are cold-blooded animals, have 3 strategies of dealing with winter cold. One is to simply get out of Dodge. Like the monarch butterfly, they migrate. The second strategy is called freeze-tolerant. These insects have evolved to survive having their body temperatures frozen. The third is freeze-avoidant. This smart insect finds a dry place, such as the hollow of a tree, to spend the winter. My honeybees fall into this last category. They spend the cold months in a tight ball in the center of the hive. They are constantly moving to keep warm, changing places so that everyone gets to be inside the warm ball from time to time. The queen stays snug and warm in the center of the ball. It's good to be the queen. They also eat their honey stores all winter, but honeybees are meticulous and they won't soil the inside of the hive. They literally hold it, sometimes for months, until one of those days when the temperature is above 45 degrees. They all take turns coming out on what's called a cleansing flight. If there's snow on the ground, you can see thousands of little yellow spots all around the hives. Now, some might call this miracles, and some might just say it's science, but either way, nature is pretty amazing. For a rebroadcast of this and previous notes from the Currant Farm, or to find out why currants are true forbidden fruit, go to currants.com. I'm Greg Quinn with Winter Cheers from the Currant Farm.
With Greg Quinn, I'm Mike Bennett. You're listening to America